The massive Imperial warship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its dark hull blocking out distant stars. On Earth's Defense Command Station, alarms blared as sensors detected the unknown vessel. Admiral James Stone stood at the command center's main viewport, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as he studied the alien ship. "They're bigger than we expected," he muttered, noting how the Imperial vessel dwarfed Earth's largest ships. But size wasn't everything. Humanity had learned that lesson many times throughout its bloody history. The alien ship's arrival wasn't a complete surprise. Earth's deep space probes had detected Imperial expansion in neighboring systems over the past few months. Humanity had prepared for this moment, though they had hoped for more time. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Rogers from her communication station. "Should I put it through?" Stone nodded, straightening his uniform. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a stern-faced humanoid figure in an ornate military uniform. The alien's skin had a slight purple tinge, but otherwise they looked remarkably similar to humans. "This is Commander Reed of the Galactic Imperial Fleet," the figure announced in perfectly translated English. "Their AI must have already processed Earth's communications. Your system now falls within Imperial space. Prepare for integration into the Empire." Stone kept his voice level as he responded. "This is Admiral Stone of the Earth Defense Fleet. We are a sovereign species and have no interest in being integrated. We request peaceful diplomatic relations instead." Commander Reed's laugh echoed through the command center. "Your primitive vessels are no match for Imperial might. We've annexed 1,000 worlds, some far more advanced than yours. Accept Imperial rule, and your transition will be peaceful." "Commander," Stone's voice carried a note of warning. "We've observed your expansion. We've studied your tactics. We strongly advise against hostile action." The Imperial commander's expression hardened. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. Without warning, the Imperial ship's main weapon fired, sending a massive energy blast toward one of Earth's orbital defense platforms. The blast never reached its target. Instead, it splashed harmlessly against an invisible barrier, dispersing into a brilliant display of colors. Commander Reed's eyes widened slightly. The humans shouldn't have shield technology that advanced. "That was your only free shot," Stone said calmly. "Our next response won't be defensive." The Imperial commander's purple face darkened with anger. "Impossible. Our scans showed no such defensive capabilities." "How did you?" "We've learned to hide our true capabilities," Stone interrupted. "Humanity has spent its entire history preparing for war. Not because we wanted to, but because we had to. We've fought ourselves for millennia, Commander. Every possible climate, every type of terrain, every conceivable strategy. We've tested them all against ourselves. We've evolved through conflict." Stone's eyes narrowed as he continued. "What you see as primitive is simply efficient. We don't need flashy ships or ornate uniforms to be deadly. Now I'll make this simple. Leave our system, establish diplomatic channels through proper means, and we can work toward peaceful cooperation." Commander Reed's face contorted with rage. "You dare threaten the Empire? We'll return with a proper invasion fleet. Your shields won't save you then." "Commander," Stone's voice was almost sad now. "That wasn't a threat. It was a warning. For your sake, I hope your leaders are wiser than you." The transmission cut off abruptly. On the main screen, the Imperial vessel turned, its engines flaring as it prepared to jump to hyperspace. Lieutenant Rogers spoke up. "Sir, they're sending a priority transmission to Imperial Command. Should we intercept?" "Let them," Stone replied, watching the alien ship disappear in a flash of light. "They'll either listen to our warning or learn the hard way." He turned to face his crew. "Signal all Earth defense stations. Upload Combat Protocol Omega to all ships and stations. If they return, we'll show them why humanity's warnings should be heeded." As his crew rushed to carry out his orders, Stone gazed out at the stars again. Humanity had spent its entire existence fighting, killing, and nearly destroying itself multiple times. They had learned from every conflict, adapted after every battle, and emerged stronger from every war. The Empire thought they were the predators in this galaxy. They were about to learn they were wrong. 3 days after Commander Reed's departure, the Empire returned. Not with one ship, but with 30. Their massive vessels darkened Earth's orbit like storm clouds gathering before a hurricane. Admiral Stone watched from the Defense Command Station as Imperial ships took up attack positions. They brought their entire third battle fleet, Lieutenant Rogers reported, her voice steady despite the odds. Detecting energy buildup in their weapons systems. Stone nodded calmly. Send the signal. Execute Operation Ghost. Across Earth's orbit, human ships suddenly vanished from Imperial sensors. The massive defense platforms that had stood guard over Earth seemingly disappeared. Commander Reed's voice boomed through the command channel, filled with arrogant confidence. Your primitive cloaking devices can't hide you forever, he announced. Surrender now, and we'll be merciful. Stone didn't respond. Instead, he watched his tactical display as hundreds of small dots moved into position. The Empire's massive ships had a weakness. They were designed to fight other massive ships. They never expected what came next. Thousands of one-person fighter craft, each smaller than an Imperial shuttle, dropped their cloaking fields. They swarmed the Imperial fleet like angry bees, their small size making them nearly impossible for the large Imperial weapons to target. What is this? Reed's voice had lost its confidence. These aren't proper warships. They're toys. The toys struck with devastating effect. Each fighter carried a specially designed weapon that could pierce Imperial shields at point-blank range. They had learned this from studying the Empire's previous battles. Their shields were strongest at normal combat distances, but weakened when something got too close. All wings, execute attack pattern Delta, Stone ordered. He watched as his fighters broke into smaller groups, each targeting a specific Imperial vessel. The Empire's ships fired their massive weapons, but the human pilots dodged with incredible skill, weaving between the energy beams like dancers. Impossible. Reed shouted as the first Imperial ship exploded. Our shields. How did you? We studied you. Stone finally responded. While you were busy showing off your power in other systems, we watched. We learned. Your ships are impressive, Commander, but they're predictable. And predictable means vulnerable. 3 more Imperial ships erupted in flames. The human fighters struck like lightning, hit and fade, never staying in one place long enough to be targeted. Earth's main battle fleet remained cloaked, waiting for the perfect moment. Reed's voice turned desperate. All ships, maintain formation. Don't let them separate us. But it was too late. The Imperial fleet's rigid formation, drilled into them by centuries of protocol, became their weakness. They couldn't adapt fast enough to the chaos of human warfare. Their ships crashed into each other trying to target the nimble fighters. Their coordinated firing patterns became death traps for their own vessels. Now, Stone commanded, spring the trap. Earth's cloaked defense platforms revealed themselves, but not where they had been before. During the chaos, they had moved to surround the Imperial fleet. Caught between the platform's heavy weapons and the swarms of fighters, the Empire's mighty ships began falling one by one. Commander Reed's final transmission was filled with disbelief. This isn't war. This is madness. No, Stone replied as he watched the Imperial commander's ship explode. This is human warfare. We warned you. In less than an hour, it was over. The Empire's third battle fleet, pride of their navy, lay in ruins. Out of 30 ships, only 5 managed to retreat, limping back to Imperial space with heavy damage. Lieutenant Rogers checked her displays. Casualties. We lost 17 fighters, Stone said quietly, honoring their sacrifice. Out of 3,000. He turned to his communications officer. Send a message to Imperial Command. Tell them exactly what happened here. Tell them how their mighty fleet was destroyed by primitive humans. As the message was sent, Stone knew this was just the beginning. The Empire wouldn't take this humiliation lightly. They would return with an even larger force, but that's exactly what he was counting on. Humanity had more surprises waiting. They thought we were easy prey, he told his crew. Instead, they found out we're the predators they should have feared all along. In the underground research facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Turner walked between rows of captured Imperial technology. The remains of 3 Imperial ships had been recovered after the battle, providing Earth's scientists with a treasure trove of alien tech. But what amazed the Imperial spies watching from orbit wasn't that humans had salvaged the technology. It was how quickly they were improving it. "Look at this," Dr. Turner said to Admiral Stone, holding up what appeared to be a simple Imperial energy rifle. "Their weapons are powerful but inefficient. They waste nearly 60% of their energy as heat." She pressed a button, and the weapon transformed, its casing shifting to reveal cooling channels. "We fixed that in 2 days." Stone picked up the modified weapon, noting how it was lighter than the original. "How much more efficient?" "Twice the power, half the energy cost," Turner smiled. "But that's not the interesting part." She led him to a larger device, the remains of an Imperial shield generator. "This is what's going to change everything." Above them, in orbit, the Imperial spy ships watched with growing concern as human vessels began to change. The primitive fleet that had destroyed the Third Battle Fleet was evolving, incorporating stolen Imperial technology in ways their own engineers had never imagined. "Their ships are adapting too quickly," one Imperial observer reported back to command. "They're not just copying our technology, they're improving it." In the research facility, Dr. Turner activated a holographic display showing a new hybrid drive system. "We combined their faster-than-light technology with our experimental quantum engines. The result is something entirely new. Our ships can now jump twice as far as theirs while using a third of the power." Stone studied the display. "How long until we can install it in our fleet?" "That's the beauty of it," Turner grinned. "We already have. Every ship in the defense fleet was upgraded last night. We used our AI manufacturing systems to mass-produce the components. The Empire still thinks it takes months to refit a ship. We do it in hours." On the main testing floor, engineers were dismantling an Imperial artificial intelligence core. Unlike the Empire's rigid, protocol-bound AIs, human artificial intelligence was adaptive, creative. When they combined the 2 technologies, the results were extraordinary. "Show him," Turner told her team. A simulation sprang to life, showing a space battle. On one side, Imperial ships moved in their standard attack patterns. On the other, human ships equipped with the new hybrid AI systems danced through space, predicting and countering every Imperial move before it happened. "Their tactics are based on thousands of years of the same strategies," Turner explained. "Our new AI can predict their movements with 99.9% accuracy. We don't just know what they're going to do. We know why they're going to do it." Stone watched as the simulation ended with another Imperial defeat. "They'll adapt eventually." "Of course they will," Turner agreed. "But by then, we'll have developed something new. That's the difference between us and them, Admiral. They perfect a technology and then use it for centuries. We perfect it, improve it, and then immediately start looking for something better." In orbit, the Imperial spy ships recorded everything they could. But each time they thought they understood what they were seeing, the humans would change their technology again. It was like trying to study a creature that evolved every day. "We need to attack now," the lead Imperial observer urged command, "before they grow too strong." But it was already too late. As Stone left the facility that evening, he received word that the first Imperial probe ships had been detected approaching Earth. This time, Earth's fleet would be ready with more than just clever tactics. "Send the order," he told his command staff. "Begin Operation Evolution. Let's show them what happens when humans decide to stop playing nice and start fighting seriously. The Empire was about to learn another harsh lesson. Giving humans access to advanced technology didn't make them more predictable. It made them more dangerous. In the Grand Hall of the Imperial Command Center, fear hung in the air like a heavy fog. Admiral Stone's message played again on the main screen, broadcasting to every Imperial world. You've lost another fleet. How many more must die before you understand? We don't want this war, but we will finish it. General West, Earth's chief of psychological warfare, stood before the United Earth Council, explaining their newest strategy. The Empire has never lost before, she said, pointing to reports from their spies. Their soldiers are breaking. Their citizens are questioning. For the first time in their history, they face an enemy they can't understand. On thousands of Imperial worlds, the same scenes played out. Soldiers refused missions to Earth. Military academies couldn't explain how a primitive species had destroyed their best fleets. The Empire's perfect order was cracking. Send in the whispers, West ordered. Across Imperial space, communication channels began picking up strange transmissions, stories of human victories, told in the Imperial language. Personal accounts from survivors of Earth's attacks, describing battles that defied Imperial military doctrine. But most disturbing were the predictions. Humans accurately describing Imperial battle plans before they happened. How? Demanded the Imperial War Council. How do they know our strategies? The answer was simple. Humans had studied history. Every battle plan the Empire used had been tried on Earth centuries ago. Every tactic, every formation, every response. Humans had seen it all before in their own wars. An Imperial captain named Harris stood before his crew, his hands shaking. We're ordered to attack their colony on Mars, he announced. But his crew refused to move. They had heard the stories. Human ships appearing from nowhere. Weapons that shouldn't exist. Battles won before they began. The humans, one crew member said, they're not just fighting our ships. They're fighting our minds. General West received the reports with satisfaction. Their entire military structure depends on absolute confidence, she told her staff. Remove that confidence, and the structure falls apart. In the Imperial capital, riots broke out for the first time in centuries. Citizens demanded answers. How could humans bypass their best shields? Why couldn't their mighty fleets win? The Empire had always taught that their technology was supreme, their tactics perfect. Now, everything they believed was being proven wrong. Admiral Stone watched the chaos spread through Imperial space. Send the next message, he ordered. Every Imperial screen lit up with images from Earth's history. Thousands of wars. Millions of battles. Countless strategies developed, tested, and perfected. You thought us primitive because we fought ourselves, Stone's voice declared. But each war taught us. Each battle made us stronger. We've spent our entire history preparing for enemies like you, and you never even knew it. The Imperial War Council received urgent reports from their front lines. Human ships were appearing in impossible places. Earth's colonies, thought to be easy targets, were protected by defenses that seemed to predict every attack. Even their most secret communications were being intercepted and decoded. They're in our heads, an Imperial commander reported before his ship went dark. They know us better than we know ourselves. General West stood in her command center, watching the Empire's mighty war machine grind to a halt. Send the final phase, she ordered. Operation Mindbreak. Throughout Imperial space, their own communication systems turned against them. Every military channel, every civilian frequency, carried the same message. You had your chance to leave us alone. You chose war. Now face the consequences. The Empire had ruled through fear for thousands of years. Now, for the first time, they were the ones afraid. Their soldiers jumped at shadows. Their commanders doubted every decision. Their perfect order was shattered by an enemy that turned their greatest strength, their rigid, unchanging nature, into their greatest weakness. Prepare for Phase 5, Stone told his commanders. The Empire thought they could break our bodies. Instead, we broke their minds. Now, it's time to show them what else humans can do. Operation Thunderbolt began at midnight Earth time. Admiral Stone stood on his new flagship, the Defiant, watching as 5,000 human ships emerged from hyperspace simultaneously across 50 Imperial systems. The Empire had never faced an attack on this scale before. They didn't even think it was possible. "All ships report ready," Lieutenant Rogers announced from her station. "The Empire still hasn't detected our new stealth systems." Stone nodded. "Begin Phase 1. Let's show them what Earth can really do." The human fleet had changed dramatically since the war began. Their ships now carried hybrid technologies that the Empire couldn't understand. Weapons that combined human innovation with Imperial power. Shields that adapted to any attack. But their greatest weapon was surprise. In the Imperial capital system, the defense fleet suddenly found itself facing 200 Earth ships that appeared from nowhere. But these weren't the small fighters they'd faced before. These were massive battleships, larger than anything humans had previously shown. "Impossible," the Imperial commander shouted. Their industry couldn't build ships this size. He was right. 3 months ago, humans couldn't. But they hadn't spent that time building ships. They'd spent it building shipyards, automated factories that could construct a capital ship in days instead of years. The Empire had given humans access to their technology, and humans had done what they always did, made it better. "All ships, execute attack pattern Thunder," Stone ordered. Across Imperial space, human fleets moved with perfect coordination. Their improved AI systems predicted and countered every Imperial response. Where the Empire expected a frontal assault, they found empty space. Where they thought they were safe, human ships appeared behind them. The Imperial capital's orbital defenses, said to be unbreakable, fell in less than an hour. Human ships didn't try to overpower them. They simply bypassed them using technologies the Empire didn't know existed. "Sir," Rogers reported, "Imperial Command Center is hailing us." On the main screen, an Imperial High Commander appeared, his face pale with fear. "How?" he demanded. "How did you do this?" "We tried to warn you," Stone replied calmly. "Humans don't fight like other species. We don't follow rules of war. We break them. We don't respect military tradition. We exploit it. Every weakness you showed us, we turned into our strength." On 50 worlds, Imperial forces were surrendering. Their mighty fleets, faced with technology they couldn't understand and tactics they couldn't predict, had no choice. The Empire had spent thousands of years perfecting their way of war. Humans had spent 3 months learning how to make that perfection meaningless. "The Imperial Palace is asking for terms," Rogers announced. Stone looked at his tactical display. Human forces had captured or destroyed 70% of the Empire's military in a single day. Not through superior numbers or overwhelming force, but through strategy, surprise, and innovation. "Send them our demands," he ordered. "But first, show them what happens if they refuse." Every screen in Imperial space lit up with images of Earth's new shipyards. Massive factories pumping out warships at impossible speeds, weapons that could crack planets, defenses that made their best attacks useless. "We can end this war now." Stone's message played across the Empire. "Or we can show you why every human child learns about something called mutually assured destruction. The choice is yours." In the Imperial Palace, the decision took less than an hour. They had finally understood what humans had been trying to tell them from the start. This wasn't a war they could win. Every victory taught humans new ways to fight. Every defeat made them stronger. "Send the response," Stone told his crew. "Operation Thunderbolt is complete. Now we show them something they've never understood: mercy." The Empire was about to learn its final lesson. Humans weren't just better at fighting wars. They were also better at ending them. In the Grand Imperial Senate chamber, silence fell as Admiral Stone walked to the center platform. Around him, Thousands of Imperial senators from across the galaxy watched with a mixture of fear and curiosity. For the first time in Imperial history, an outsider addressed their highest governing body. "We didn't want this war," Stone began, his voice echoing through the massive hall. "You chose it, but now you have a choice about how it ends." The Imperial High Council sat in their elevated seats, their once proud postures now humble. Behind them, massive screens showed the aftermath of Operation Thunderbolt. 50 worlds captured in a single day. The mighty Imperial fleet reduced to scattered remnants. "Our analysts finally understand," announced High Commander Ward, his voice trembling. "We reviewed Earth's history. Their planet has seen more wars in 1,000 years than our empire has in 10,000. Stone nodded. "Every war taught us something new. While you perfected a single way of fighting, we created thousands. While you built an unchanging doctrine, we learned to adapt. While you sought stability, we embraced chaos." The screens changed to show Earth's new technological achievements. Imperial scientists watched in amazement as human engineers demonstrated how they had improved upon Imperial designs. What had taken the Empire centuries to develop, humans had enhanced in months. "Impossible," one Imperial scientist muttered. "Their minds work differently than ours." "No," Stone corrected him. "We simply never stopped asking what if. While you saw perfection in your technology, we saw potential for improvement. While you sought to maintain your achievements, we sought to surpass them." In orbital shipyards above the Imperial capital, human engineers worked alongside their Imperial counterparts, showing them new ways of thinking. The Empire's rigid protocols began to bend, then break, replaced by human innovation. "Your empire has ruled for 10,000 years," Stone continued. "In that time, you've conquered 1,000 species, but you never evolved. You never changed. You thought your way was perfect, so you stopped trying to improve." The High Council members looked at each other, understanding finally dawning in their eyes. Their greatest strength, their unchanging nature, had become their greatest weakness when faced with humanity's constant evolution. "We offer you peace," Stone declared. "Not because we must, but because we choose to. Humanity doesn't seek to rule your empire. We seek to help it grow." Murmurs spread through the Senate chamber. The concept was alien to them. A victor who didn't want to conquer. A powerful species offering partnership instead of domination. "But why?" asked the Imperial Prime Minister. "You could destroy us, take our worlds, rule our people." Stone smiled. "Because that's not what humans do. We fight when we must, but we prefer to build, to create, to improve. War is our skill, but peace is our preference." The screens now showed joint human-imperial projects already underway. New ships combining the best of both civilizations. Schools where human creativity met imperial discipline. A future where both species grew stronger together. "Your empire has stood unchanged for 10,000 years," Stone concluded. "Now it's time for it to evolve. We offer you our innovation, our adaptability, our drive to improve. In return, we ask for peace and partnership." The Senate chamber erupted in discussion. For the first time, Imperial citizens began to imagine a future different from their past. A future where change wasn't feared, but embraced. "The choice is yours," Stone said finally. "You can cling to your old ways and fade into history, or you can join us in building something new, something better." The High Council didn't take long to decide. They had seen humanity's power in war. Now they would see humanity's power in peace. As Stone left the chamber, he smiled. The Empire was learning its most important lesson. True strength didn't come from perfection. It came from the willingness to change, to grow, to evolve. The war was ending, but humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy was just beginning. 1 year after Operation Thunderbolt, the galaxy had changed more than it had in the previous 1,000 years. On the newly established Joint Council Station, orbiting between Earth and the Imperial capital world, Admiral Stone watched ships from both civilizations moving peacefully through space. "The latest reports are in," Lieutenant Rogers said, handing him a datapad. "The last Imperial hardliners have surrendered. The war is officially over." Stone nodded, remembering how differently this could have ended. The humans could have destroyed the Empire, taken their worlds, ruled their people. Instead, they had chosen a harder path, teaching the Empire how to change. In the station's massive learning center, Dr. Turner stood before a mixed class of human and Imperial scientists. "This is how we think," she explained, showing them a problem and 10 different ways to solve it. "There is never just one right answer. There are always more possibilities." The Imperial students, once rigid in their thinking, were starting to understand. One raised his hand. "But what if none of these solutions is perfect?" Turner smiled. "Then we create something better. That's what humans do. We never stop improving." Across the galaxy, changes were spreading like wildfire. Imperial ships now carried human-designed AI systems that could think creatively. Human colonies used improved versions of Imperial technology. Both civilizations grew stronger by working together. In the station's command center, Stone met with Commander Reed, the same Imperial officer who had once threatened Earth. But Reed was different now. The arrogance was gone, replaced by understanding. "We thought we were teaching the Galaxy Order," Reed admitted. "Instead, you taught us how to grow." Stone gestured to a nearby window, where a new class of ship was under construction. It combined Imperial size and power with human innovation and adaptability. "We all have something to learn from each other," he said. "That's why humans explore, why we question, why we never stop asking, what if?" The Joint Council had replaced the old Imperial Senate. Here, humans and Imperials worked together as equals. They faced new challenges, explored new frontiers, and solved problems in ways neither civilization could have managed alone. "The border worlds are requesting human teachers," Rogers reported. "They want to learn our way of thinking." Stone remembered the Empire's first arrival at Earth, how they had dismissed humans as primitive. Now those same Imperial citizens were eager to learn humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt and improve. In orbit around Earth, the Empire's mighty warships now served as museums. Inside them, Imperial children learned about the war that had changed everything. They learned why their ancestors should have heeded humanity's warning. But more importantly, they learned why peace was stronger than war. "We're detecting a signal from deep space," Rogers announced suddenly. "It's something we've never seen before." Stone smiled. This was what both civilizations needed, a new challenge, something that would require Imperial strength and human creativity working together. "Send word to the Joint Council," he ordered. "Tell them humanity is ready for its next adventure. And this time, we face it with allies who understand us." As the signal was analyzed, humans and Imperials worked side by side. The Empire had learned to embrace change, while humans had learned to appreciate stability. Together, they were stronger than either had been alone. In his private quarters that evening, Stone recorded a final message for Earth's archives. "We warned them to run, but they chose to fight. In doing so, they learned something far more valuable than warfare. They learned that true strength isn't in standing unchanging against the universe. It's in having the courage to adapt, to improve, to evolve." The Empire tried to teach the Galaxy Order. Instead, humanity taught the galaxy hope. The war was over. The alliance was strong. And somewhere in deep space, new challenges waited for a civilization that combined the best of both worlds, human innovation and Imperial power. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly how it should be.